Hi everyone, so in this video I'll be showing you how to use the Casio FX CG50 to help you check your answers for the Drawing Quadratics booklet from the Corbett Maths website. So here we go, let's look at question number 1. Question number 1 asks us to complete our table of values. Now if you've watched my previous video on drawing straight line graphs, I think it's called, I'll just exit out of that for something I did earlier. Then we've used the table function before. So in menu we've got table, which is 7, and in here I'm just going to unselect all of the other graphs I've been working on. So these are my answers to the equation of the line booklet that I was working through last. So the first one I can go down to here is y12. On there I'm going to enter this, x squared subtract 1. I'm going to set my table, and my table needs to go from -2 up to 3, and I'm happy with it in steps of 1. Now to see my table, I've got here now my values. This column here I've used previously because it gives me the gradient of the graph that I'm plotting at each of those points. This one is changing because it's a quadratic. So here we go, and x is -2, y is 3. That aligns with the information pre-populated in the table. So at -1 it's 0, at 0 it's -1, at 1 it is 0, at 2 it is 3, that aligns, and at 3 it is 8. Lovely. So those are the first 2 marks. Then it wants me to draw a graph of y equals x squared plus 1 for the values from -2 to 3. So I'm going to get my pencil, and also, even though it's a curve, I'm going to get a ruler. I'm going to show you my favourite way to plot curves. On my calculator, menu, I'm going to go back into graph, and if I go down, I can see in here the one that I've just entered in table, because each of these, they're like apps really, they communicate with one another. And I'm going to draw that one. Okay. So here we go. That's what it looks like. It's a parabolic curve, and it has its line of symmetry about the y-axis. Is that what it's going to look like on here? So at -2, I plot the point 3. Always use a cross for accuracy. -1 is 0. 0 is -1. 1 is 0. 2 is 3, and 3 is 8. So what I always do is I do my minimum first to make sure that that's a curve. I will generally connect the outer ones with a ruler and then blend it in. And as you can see, I'm right-handed. I've turned my paper up this way. I'm going to use my wrist as a pivot. Okay, I'm going to use my wrist as a pivot. It's nothing to say that you can't rotate your answer booklet when you're in an exam, and it just means it makes it much easier to draw. I think I might have done that slightly too steep. Thinking of the nature of this curve, let's see how this goes. So let's connect the 2 up. Let's go through. There we go. Round again. So we have a nice smooth curve with a line of symmetry being the y-axis. Yeah, the scale is different, but it looks like that on here. If you want to change the scale, you can go view window. My favourite one is initial. Okay, but then you might want to move it around a bit and see a bit more. So there we go, you can zoom in and out. You can change your view window. Standard is 10 by 10, so you can see it that way. And you can even set your parameters for what you want your axes to show. So if we did that one, we would set our x minimum at -2, our x maximum at 3, go down, our y minimum at -4, and our maximum at 10, and then it would draw it for me with those exact axes, but the scale is different because here it's a 1-to-1 scale, well, almost. It's 2 squares across for every unit, 1 square up. Here I've got a lot more squares across for 1 unit than I have for 1 up, but it still shows me that I've got that part of the curve there. So that's how you plot that one. The next one is exactly the same. Put that in, do your table of values, plot your graph, 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 and same again. So just for this one, because this time it's a negative x squared, just to give you an additional example, we'll do that one as well. So I'm going to unselect this one, I'm going to go down, and I always miss the green ones out. I had a really lovely lady who came and did some training at one of the schools I used to work at, and her advice at the time was to avoid using the green ones because they can be more difficult to see. Ever since I have. So then that's personal preference. So 4 subtract x squared, and then I'm going to draw that one. But I'm already on draw here. I needed to do my table first. So if I go menu and into table, if I scroll down, I'll find that that one's there. I need to unselect it. And the one I've just put in is there as well. So setting my table this time is from -3 up to 2. And I look at my table. Remember, this column here gives you the gradient of it. If you want to turn that off, then you go into Shift Setup and you turn it off. I really like it to be on for some of the things we can do with looking at normals and parallel lines and other bits and pieces as well. So -3 is -5, that corresponds to the table. -2 is 0, -1 is 3, 0 is 4, 1 is 3, and 2 is at 0. Then menu, graph, went into the wrong option, graph, draw, because I know I've already selected the one I want, so that's what I want it to look like. So here we go. -3 is at -5, -2 is at 0, -1 is at 3, 0 is at 4, 1 is at 3, 2 is at 0. Does that look about right? Yeah, symmetrical about the y-axis. So it's already the right way up for me here. Just make sure I've identified that that's my minimum. Join my furthest two with a ruler, and then a smooth curve to join the others. And that is the graph of 4 minus x squared from -3 to 2. Thank you very much. So that's the end of my video on how to use your Casio FX CG50 to help check your answers or to help give you a hand really with the Corbett Maths booklet drawing quadratics. Thank you very much. Goodbye.